journey into the world of the tablets of adamantine diamond consciousness, where we explore the text of Starfire Wisdom with fellow readers Kimberly, Kamborian, and Christina Carter. Honor yourself, celebrate your strength, empower your transformation with your Yin-care. This is the Yin-care Podcast, and I'm your host, Margaret Jacobson, the Mother Rising. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Yin-care Podcast. I'm Margaret Jacobson, the Mother Rising. I'm so excited to invite in today two of the three beautiful women in my Starfire Wisdom reading group. And you're probably wondering what a Starfire Wisdom reading group is, and you're going to learn very soon. So I'd first like to invite in Kimberly Kamborian. She is the creator of the Center for Core Healing. And the Center for Core Healing is birthed from Kimberly's own healing journey as she has found disease, death, divorce, and disconnection to be some of her greatest teachers. And at the Center of Core Healing, she shares tools, practices, and wisdom that have helped her to heal both from pain and trauma. And it's her great joy to guide individuals to connect to their core so they can self-heal, navigate during turbulent times, and prosper. And having raised two boys on her own while working full-time in the educational sector, Kimberly is uniquely poised and understands the supports that are vital to growing and maintaining strong, healthy youth and families. And she's dedicated to assisting humanity to awaken, activate, and arise to their true power, purpose, and potential, bestowing their unique and special gifts to the world. So without further ado, let me get Kimberly in here. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome.
Hello, Margaret. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It's so nice to be here with you today.
I'm so happy to have you. And next, I'm going to be inviting in Christina Carter, who I'm going to let introduce herself only because we did not have a formal chance for her to share any of her extra juicy details about her bio with me. So Christina, come on in.
Hi, my name's Christina Carter, and I am so glad to be here as part of the Starfire group. These ladies mean the world to me already.
Yay!
Has been, I started early with a lot of these sensitivities when I was young and have sort of cycled back to them again. So this book has been kind of a rejoining or a remembrance, bringing back a lot of things into my consciousness, but also showing me the power of joining in a powerful group of women and reading aloud, how that's a manifestation tool and a tool of remembrance. So I'm enjoying this process as a way to remember who I am in the context of groups of very aware and powerful women, and very much interested in expanding my own awareness in the context of healing somewhat, but also in what future changes are coming ahead that we don't even really know what they are. So it's the unknown.
Awesome. That's perfect. That is perfect because this book speaks to really expanding so many of those intuitive qualities that we all have, that we have squashed, so to speak, for many years, potentially without paying attention to them. So that was perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to do was to show everybody the book, first of all, so that they can see what we are reading. And this is the Starfire Wisdom book. Is that viewable? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so this is on the starfirewisdom.com. And this is Luma Lore. She is the author, the founder of the Starfire Wisdom Academy. And she channeled this book through her oracle, which is Oracle Pegasus. And so we're going to kind of in the introduction that we have, it will share more about Luma. Is there anything that you guys wanted to say specifically about Luma or the book?
I'm just going to read a little bit from the back of her book where it
Oh,
says,
yeah, perfect.
she is a spiritual teacher, workshop facilitator, ceremonialist, award-winning composer, performing artist, and mother. For over 30 years, she has been serving clients and students in life transformation and higher education. She has participated in and facilitated many indigenous ceremonies, and her Cherokee ancestors claim to be descendants from the Star Nations. So it's an honor to read Luma's work through Oracle Pegasus and to know her as a woman and a friend.
Absolutely. Yeah. She is truly phenomenal. And as we are very wishful that you will all see the power of this book and the depths in which it has expanded pieces of each of us. I'll also mention here that she offers, in combination with the Starfire Wisdom, she also has a breath work technique called the Starfire Breath that she has on a weekly basis, online classes that goes through clearing the energy of each of our chakras in a way that is very unique for each individual. Each man or woman is going to have their own experience with the breath work. But in general, from what I have experienced in the groups I've been in, it is really expansive and detoxifying and emotionally clearing. Would you guys agree with the ones you've participated in, or would you have anything to add about Starfire Breath?
She leads it very, very well. And she's good with the rhythm, so you can move from the chakras and get the breath work technique in a guided way. So even though she gives you a practice video to practice the technique, which is a wise idea before the class, you're guided very well. And there's a rhythm to it. So it really helps a lot.
And each time I've done it, it's unique and different things emerge, whether it's grief, sadness, joy, elation, calmness. So whatever is needed emerges that week.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree.
Even memories of past relationships or trauma or emotional memories that come up. It triggers and cleanses as you work through all the chakras and connecting them.
Yeah. And it's so neat too, because you do it in a group with other people. And Luma is such a beautiful oracle. At the same time, she can sense when other spirit guides are coming in, or she's sensing who's doing what in the group, even though we're all at a distance. And so she kind of like will give guiding words as we're doing the breath work that is it feels very personalized, which I think is just so special, you know? So, okay, cool. All right. So that is Luma and that is Starfire Wisdom. I'll put this back up on the screen later. I guess I'll say one other thing that we do want to, because I don't want to forget. Luma is in the area in Asheville, North Carolina, where Hurricane Helene hit. And actually, Christina's in Florida where Milton was.
Yeah,
Christina had to evacuate as well.
I know, it's crazy.
But Luma got hit pretty hard. And so if you are feeling particularly inspired by this book and feel connection to it, we really do encourage you to consider purchasing the book. And anything you purchase, or any if you are interested in her sessions or anything like that, will really help her right now, just as she's getting everything back in order in her life. But the book especially, because that's really something special to her that she'd like to grow. So we really hope that we can pique your interest and excite you in ways that you don't yet realize. So okay, so I thought that we could start with how we all came together, how this all sort of formed. Um, And I'll just say that, from my perspective, Kimberly and I had met in another group together and really made with Luma, actually, right? Kimberly, do you want to
Yeah,
share that story?
yeah, we were taking a Bliss to Business course with Marguerite Rigoloso. And Luma, Margaret, and I were all in the class, and we really enjoyed the class and meeting each other. And Luma introduced herself in the class and shared the book. And when the class was over, I felt really drawn to buy the book, and so did Margaret. And then Luma connected us, as we had both bought the book, into a reading group. So Margaret and I were reading, and then we were connected through Luma to two other women, Pat and Christy. And then we were reading with them, and then Christy couldn't continue, but Pat and Margaret and I, and then we invited Christina in. So we've had a foursome. And Pat unfortunately can't be with us tonight, but she's with us in spirit. And she holds
Absolutely.
down the base of the pyramid, as our locations are Wyoming, Arizona, Massachusetts, and Florida. So the four of us reading really brings in these starfire codes into the earth in a very grounded base, the base of the Grand Pyramid. And Christina and I are friends from the third grade. So that's a beautiful gift too, to share this.
That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah,
That is
we were diamond dolls in high school, so it was future planned.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Christina sort of bestowed this awesome name that we now call ourselves, which is the Diamond Dolls, because the soul group that has brought the wisdom through Oracle Pegasus is the guardians of the adamantine diamond tablets. And so there's the Starfire Wisdom is this diamond consciousness. And Luma's always encouraging us to even potentially purchase some diamonds and connect
Wear
with
your
the
diamond.
diamonds. Yeah, but lots of sparkles, lots of sparkling energy around all of this text and everything that comes with it. So the Diamond Dolls is fitting, right, guys?
Very much so. Sparkle, your star shine. Turn on your star shine, people.
Exactly. Yeah, so we have a lot of fun playing with all of that. It's just, and it's one. So I wanted to talk about like how it's impacted us, and I would just say that Monday night is our Starfire Wisdom reading night, and it has just become this night that is like a sacred night. Like, don't mess with my Starfire Wisdom reading session. Like, it is a joyful session, like the bonding of us as women, and with the text and the deep feeling and intuitive interpretations that we all bring is so transformative.
And we weave our stories in. So things that we have experienced or that we're grappling with, we bring into the readings, because the readings will trigger the past in some way, or needing advice on something, and it all just weaves together magnificently.
It absolutely does. It's really quite powerful. And one of the things that we'll kind of go through, because we're going to do some reading for all of you guys out there, in the very beginning of the text, it explains the importance of reading it together in groups. So you'll have a better understanding as to why that is. But it's also an experiential and felt, uh, you know, sense when you're actually doing it. It was something I've never done before. I was never part of a Bible group or anything like that, where I would be studying a text that was of deeply spiritual nature like this. I mean, it's not that I haven't participated in lots of different spiritual groups and studies, but not particularly of reading a text. Have you guys ever had an experience like that before?
Not
Not
in
like
this
that.
depth.
What I experience is sometimes when we're reading, it triggers remembrance and triggers things in the body that can be, we bring it up and mirror it and discuss it, and it just sort of helps it come up to consciousness, it seems. And then the exercises also sometimes can be subtle. Like even if I'm not particularly focused on it, I find it coming up in the week.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Kimberly, have
Like,
you
Well,
ever read in a group?
this is my first spiritual book group.
Yeah.
I've never really been in a book group that I have so treasured, because the level and the depth of this text is raising the consciousness, and not only of ourselves and each other, but as we each go into the world, we're spreading that all around.
Yeah. It changes you as you're reading it and after. And then that frequential upgrade, so to speak, is like, I think was it Luma that was saying that, well, it talks, yeah, she was in the reading group with us the other time when it said Star Walker, and she explained what Star Walker was, not like Star Wars term in any way, but it was like that we as light beings are star walkers on the earth, bringing our transmissions everywhere we go along the planet.
That's right. And the earth, feeding the earth, channeling the light into the earth, being conduits or transducers, transmitters.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also say it's the witnessing of each other in the moment and the love in the moment that I probably treasure most, because we tend to always think of future. And I do. I think of future self and manifesting and all that. But really, the presence with you all, just seeing how wonderful you all are, and the moments are like enough.
It's so true. It's so true. And there's so much that happens in listening to each other, and the voice, and I know Pat would say this too. Pat would talk a lot about like also like we rotate who reads in the text. Like one paragraph will be one person and then the next paragraph is the other person, and it's always interesting to see which paragraph lands on you and what it has to say and what your voice is meant to give to the group by being the frequency that transmits that paragraph, right?
Yes, definitely. Frequency of each of our intonations and the vibrations that we emit deepens the meanings.
Yeah.
I've learned also you don't really have to try. It just is. It just is. So
Yep.
that's experience. I'm experiencing it on that zone.
I love it. I love it. It's perfect. Okay. So a couple of the unique features about this book that I thought would be good to explain to the audience, because they're not going to be seeing the text. I'm not going to put it up on the screen. But that it's not written in perfect English all the time, right? It's sometimes all in capital letters. And these are features that are important. Sometimes there's run-on sentences, and sometimes there's some unusual words. So do you guys want to say anything about those
Well, it
pieces?
definitely has its own vernacular, and it coins its own terms, which are very meaningful and explode in a way that's, I don't know, it just is like a kaleidoscope, visually, auditorily, and your imagination. So I really like those words and you'll hear some of them as we read.
I can also sense that I went through a time in my late 20s where I connected with that Cherokee work. And I really loved that, the 7 generations and the weaving the tapestry. And this book really I feel that in the book.
I'm not familiar with that, so I trust you. That's pretty cool.
Well, Paloma would probably tell you a lot more about it, but it was transitional in my life. Like I felt a resonance. And I don't know, I feel like not allowing creativity to be outside the bounds, so to speak, allow it to arise and express, seems a lot like, mediumship and all of that has a lot of those features. So it's
Yeah,
not contained in that way. It's
that's
allowed even more or even whatever's coming through.
that is perfect. That is great. So then I think we could just get started and read the beginning of the book. But before we do that, Kimberly has this incredible gift, which she brings to her work that I was describing earlier with the Center for Core Healing. One of her true gifts, in my opinion, is being able to bring us all into a centered focus through prayer work and centering. So, Kimberly, would you do us the honor and bring us into together tonight so we can read?
I would be honored to. And I just want to honor Pat because she usually starts us off with her singing bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine if you close your eyes and ground with your feet into the earth, Mother. Deep belly breaths in and out of equal measure. Just hear the gong in your mind's eye and in your mind's ears that resonates out and brings everything into right alignment. Every atom, every molecule, every photon is singing with the starfire wisdom of the adamantine diamond consciousness. And as we begin this reading, we just give thanks to the beings that bring in these star codes for us to align our shushumnas, our spines, with the divine will and the divine love. And that's grounded through our beings as we are tuning forks into the central core of this beautiful crystalline earth that we live on. And as we breathe and we expand and we open, we let wisdom, this starfire wisdom, accelerate our ascension and help humanity and those who choose to make physical body ascensions in this life to let it be possible. So when we open this space to reading, we invite in these wisdom codes and we give great thanks to these beings that hold this for us, even when humanity is struggling. So thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Luma. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Pat. And just to holding this love. So just coming back, opening your eyes, and being ready to receive this into your being at the deepest depths for the highest good of all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That felt so amazing. I so needed that. I feel like I just took a bath. I'm ready. You know how you just have the
Yeah,
energy of the day that's still hanging around on you?
yes, and just cleanse it. I wonder if in this podcast, if we did ring a singing bowl or if Chris played her beautiful instrument, if we could hear it, because
Let's hear it. Let's
yeah,
hear it,
see
Chris.
if
See
it
if it
can,
works.
because a lot of times when we're on Zoom, it doesn't. And usually we do an Om. We can Om one together.
Shanti, Shanti for Pat.
And to all of the indigenous tribes that hold this wisdom and consciousness, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to add for one of the exercises straight from, actually, we can do, I can do the singing, the Allah Atman. I'll do that one. So one of the things that is in the book is a little chant that we were encouraged to create voice to. So I'll sing my song that I created for it. Allah Atman Omni Omni Allah Atman Omni Omni Allah Atman Omni Omni Allah Atman Omni Omni.
Beautiful. Thank you, Margaret.
Oh, yes, my pleasure.
Voice.
Thank you. Well, Luma offers golden voice lessons. So she has helped me a little bit with my voice too.
Yes, and Luma has a beautiful voice, and she always sings at the end of the breath work.
She does. She does. There was one other thing I was just going to think, though, that was another thing that was said. Oh, this is what in one of the exercises, and I usually say this to myself in the morning when I'm done with my prayers and centering, but it was that one, there was an exercise where we came into the center of our head and created like a crystalline kind of space in there for connecting with our bigger, more expansive self. And at the end, we were to say, I honor you, I honor you, I honor you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. So just bringing those pieces of this book in.
Beautiful. Thank you, Margaret.
All right. So what order should we go in? We're just going to start on what is page 1, everyone. It's called The Keys to Understanding. Who would like, do you guys want to pick an order? What's our order? Because I'm not the good order keeper.
You want to start, Christina, or do you want me to start?
I'll go first.
All right.
Cool. Great.
Keys to Understanding by Luma Lore. Fasten your seatbelts and prepare to go on an adventurous ride. This book is a journey that, once embarked upon, leaves an indelible impression of starlight that will forever change you towards an illuminated mindset. The authoring of this unusual format of spiritual principles, teachings, and exercises is from the intent to assist those humans who are fervently asking for assistance to break free from the mental bondage prevalent on earth right now. The asking or praying has been heard. The answer has come in response by certain amalgamated consciousnesses on a higher dimension of existence, basically non-physical beings of great caring and masterful presence of wisdom and knowledge, who collectively created this book as a tool of assistance. That collective group chooses to call themselves the Guardians of the Adamantine Tablets.
Awesome. And so usually that is one paragraph for those of you who cannot see. And so usually what we do is go back through each paragraph and just pause and see if there's any pieces that any of us feel like there was like a hook or an expansion or caught our eye or we didn't understand. Sometimes we don't understand it. So anything that you guys were catching this time around?
Amalgamated consciousness on higher dimensions of existence. So in that way, it sort of doesn't matter that you pinpoint it so much.
Right.
You might feel those different energies, or that's my experience a little bit.
Yeah.
And
And then just to give that context one more time to the audience, the statements prior to that little snippet that Christina shared is it said the asking or praying has been heard. And then this sentence that includes it says the answer has come in a response by certain amalgamated consciousness on higher dimensions of existence.
and I
Basically,
just well, I
oh, sorry.
wanted to add that what you were going to say, Margaret, that there are non-physical beings that exist of a very high consciousness
Mhm.
that are helping us. They're there to help us. They hear us, they help us, and they respond. And that may be a far out thought for some, but in my understanding of creation, there's so much that exists that we cannot see or hear, but that comes to us and that awakens us and evolves us. And I feel like this book is a gift from these non physical beings that care so much about us and want us to master this wisdom and knowledge to help us, to assist us.
I also think it's about breaking free from the bondage they speak of prevalent on the earth right now. So it's breaking out of how we perceive, think, be, getting into that creativity. It's a very, it's a different way of looking at things that doesn't, a lot of the habits that are in the world, they don't necessarily bring people to that consciousness.
Absolutely, definitely. And that is, as people go further in the book, it's incredibly apparent. That's what they want us to do. I just want to highlight what stood out for me this time was where it's the second sentence. This book is a journey that, once embarked upon, leaves an indelible, and this was the piece, an indelible impression of starlight that will forever change you towards an illuminated mindset. And for me, this word of starlight has really, as I'm coming deeper into my own internal world, cellular atomic levels of knowing how my own body is working, I'm also feeling the expansiveness of that on a macrocosmic space, which is sort of like an internal starlight and an external starlight. So to me, I'm feeling like I'm not really clear on how to explain it, but just that word, the starlight and the creativity behind what created that starlight, I'm feeling that inside of myself too.
Mm. Yes, it's almost like the star beings, their light is where the wisdom shines into us.
Mm-hmm.
And one way is we get it through words, through images, but actually the light's coming in. It's these words are photonic.
Exactly. And it's frequential shifting, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. So the original, if a starlight is traveling through the universe, then when it hits the physical body or even the etheric bodies, it's going to frequentially change it.
Yeah.
And so this text is really a channel of that starlight.
Yes. Yes. And I just want to give thanks again to these guardians of the adamantine tablets. On behalf of humanity, I just thank them. I thank them. I thank them.
Yes. Cool. Kimberly, do you want to read the next paragraph?
Yes. My personal relationship with this group has led me to also call them the Council of Light, as that is how I often experience them. I am in service as an oracle, one who serves humanity through my innate capacity to tap into multiple realms of reality. And through lifetimes of training, I have developed the skill to retrieve and transmit useful information and energetic packages of communication from many different levels of consciousness. This book is one of those transmissions. So that's from Luma's mouth
Yeah.
to our ears.
Yeah. This whole section is really.
Yes.
But I love the energetic packages of communication from many different levels of consciousness.
Yes. Yes, from the Council of Light.
Yes.
All right,
All right.
Margaret.
Okay. My oracular name is Oracle Pegasus because I receive an image of a flying horse, Pegasus, in my inner eye to indicate that the incoming transmission or message is of integrity. Although I've been psychic and intuitive since a young child, my formal oracular service with Pegasus began in 2010 through spontaneous recognition from my higher consciousness, often called Atman, and spirit guides. Ever since, I have been in service diligently, helping many people seeking spiritual guidance through readings, downloads, and transmissions.
I like that she outlines the messages of integrity, because I think that's something we do need to be mindful of, that the source of this information.
Yes, exactly.
And I really do trust the source of this information.
Yeah. How do you guys, that's a good reflection point. This is one of those things that we will do in the reading of the rest of the book, but like, how do you guys know when something's of integrity? Do you get besides having an oracle Pegasus in your life, is there something that clues you in, or is it a feeling or anything?
I think it's in my gut. It's like I get a hit, and my emotional body is what's communicating to me. Does this feel right?
Yeah.
Does it smell right? Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Does it smell terrible? I think as I've come more into touch with my womb, and because for so many years I was so cut off from the bottom half of my body, and as I've come deeper and deeper into my womb space, I feel an energy grounding in me that feels like I can, like, what someone's saying is definitely true, or I still feel connected to the earth. Whereas if something is not of integrity, I almost feel like it's disconnected and I disconnect.
I love that description. I'm going to pay more attention to that, because
Yeah,
I know
I'd love
what
to
you mean.
know.
And how you feel around somebody, if you're feeling drained, or you're feeling more uplifted and enlivened and empowered.
Exactly. Cool. Kimberly, you want to read on
I think
for
it's
us?
Chris.
Christina. Sorry. I'm sorry, Christina, please.
I first met the Guardians in April 2014 during a meditation when I was telepathically contacted and presented with the prompting Now is the time to start the book you agreed to do. I was amused that I didn't consciously remember that agreement, but with pleasant amusement, I followed guidance to sit with an open, quiet mind and type into my MacBook Pro with my eyes closed. A vision of Pegasus flew into my mind, and the title of this book was given, The Adamantine Tablets of Diamond Consciousness Teachings. Later, it would be revealed to me that this was the first volume in a series of books called Starfire Wisdom, a collection of accumulated wisdom tools of universal laws and principles for ascension. Oh, okay, accumulated wisdom tools of universal laws and principles for ascension.
Beautiful.
I'm looking forward to the other books, let's just say. I know Luma's a little overwhelmed, but
Yes,
when Oracle Pegasus shows up again for the next books,
we're ready.
we still have half of this book to go, but
Yes, I know. I haven't fully read the whole book yet.
I know we're getting there
We're
though. It's
getting
so
there.
exciting. It's so exciting.
So
All right, Kimberly.
I never interacted with my rational mind. As a matter of fact, it was imperative for the purity of these teachings that I keep my rational mind quiet and receive each chapter as more of an interpreter of energy into a written language. Often words came to me that I didn't recognize, but did my best to spell intuitively. Occasionally, a thought would arise in my mind. Is this going to make any sense when I'm done?
I love that. And I feel like Pat said that when Luma went to have someone help her edit it, it was somewhat of a challenge because she had to really stick to the way it was given to her so that it was expressed appropriately, so that the all capitalizations were kept the way they were and the strange terminology was kept intact, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. After each download, the guardians would finish formally, and I would be prompted to sign Atman, who is also a member of the guardians, as a way of saying, we are complete. Filled with love and deep peace, I would then read the transcription to my partner, Ocean, to activate the energy within the specific coded phrasing, the rhythmic patterns, and the unusual vocabulary combinations. This is why it is called a codex. The reading out loud with another is an intrinsically important aspect of this collective collection of wisdom, for it is an activation of useful consciousness provoking energy through the portal of the mind.
When you were reading that, I just wanted to shout out to who's ever going to be listening to this throughout all time and all space that this provokes energy through the portal of your mind, this collection of wisdom, and that whoever reads this or listens to this is deeply affected on a positive consciousness level.
Absolutely.
And gets activated.
Yeah, it's a massive activation. I would agree. All right. Is it my turn now? I can't remember now.
It's mine. All 42 chapters of this book were downloaded in this way, each on different days in their entirety. Surprisingly, Ocean and I discovered that each chapter not only made sense, but also left an impression of great wonder, with satisfying answers and explanations of our present situation on Earth, as well as giving us exercises to do to help us make important changes in our personal lives. We also noticed that the phrases and vocabulary were not at all my usual conversational jargon. The guardians explained that their use of word combinations were specifically nonlinear and sometimes redundant to provoke a stretching of the mind of the readers and listeners. To fully grasp the understanding requires a type of cognitive yoga that strengthens the deeper, mostly unused portions of the average everyday human mind.
Can you read that last sentence one more time? Because you cut out just briefly.
To fully grasp the understandings requires a type of cognitive yoga that strengthens the deeper, mostly unused portions of the average everyday human mind.
Mhm. Yes, that is the truth.
That's incredible. Cognitive yoga.
I like it's true. Sometimes the word combinations were specifically nonlinear and sometimes redundant to provoke a stretching of the mind of the readers and listeners. And that is definitely something I feel like all of us have experienced.
Yes, I agree with that.
Is it my
It's your turn, beautiful Christina.
This is why I'm very passionate writing these keys to understanding for you. My deepest intent is for you to have the greatest success in receiving the gift within this codex by understanding first how it works. You don't need to necessarily rationally understand what you're reading at first. Just read it out loud, even to yourself, and listen and feel the patterns. Reread, pause, and even discuss with your partner or group if you have them. Allow your mind to reach for the meanings in new ways. Many of us today have become lazy in our conditioned thinking, and this has resulted in an unfortunate weakness that has allowed a state of mind control to influence too many into unconscious behavior. Now is the time to wake up. The adamantine tablets are here to assist you as a tool.
And we'll just say, now is the time to wake up is all in caps.
Yes.
Since
Yes.
they can't see that.
And understanding first how it works is bolded.
Mm-hmm.
But just reading it doesn't, even if you don't understand it, means it's still going in. Because sometimes we read a paragraph and none of us really understood it. So we have to dissect it again and read it again. And slowly it infiltrates the deeper meanings.
Yeah.
But even reading it without understanding is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
What I also like is it's a way of breaking out of conditioned thinking. That's a big part of sort of, sometimes it feels like, really different the way it reads. And we've all sort of been, what was that? And I feel that makes you become more present for what you're reading in a way that isn't like saying to your mind, I already know this. Because so much of repetition in the world can shut off being open to being present to what you're reading or the meaning or the vibration, the whole thing. And so to me, that's the part that I love about it. It says not to become dull that way is kind of cool about this book.
Yeah, definitely.
Who knows?
Would you finish it up for us as well?
Yep. The following part of the Keys to Understanding was downloaded from the Guardians and pertains to other important aspects that will allow you to enjoy and reap the maximum benefits of this experience. Thank you for taking the time to deepen your awareness of who you are. This is the message of freedom to you from the Guardians and me. With deep love and earnest caring, Lumalore Oracle Pegasus.
Awesome.
Beautiful. So that is the introduction, Keys to Understanding This.
I think if we could read that note to the reader as well, that would be good.
Do you want to start, Margaret?
Sure.
'Cause
So the next piece that comes on, this is now page 3, is Note to the Reader by the Guardians this time. This is channeled through Oracle Pegasus by the Guardians. Okay. We, the Guardians, have initially chosen the avenue of the English vernacular of the American kind, occasionally mixed with Old English, to enhance the memories of many of the soul groups through this very important, partially angelic language. Within these streamings are encoded phrases, vibrational patterns, and rhythms, and imaging to afford you the highest form of power from these multidimensional light-coded teachings, such that you can receive the downloaded transmission on many levels at once to have a balanced realm of understanding if you so allow yourself to discern what works for you and your particular body type and life path at the time of reading or hearing these codes. So that's a long
lot.
sentence, but that's a perfect example as to how they write.
Yeah, there's a lot packed into that paragraph.
Mm-hmm. I still love that they say partially angelic language.
Yeah, I
and
was
that
just going to say that. It's beautiful.
it really makes you, because I feel like I've heard people say different things like, oh, English is a demonic language or da 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 da, different things. And so when I hear this, that it just doesn't feel right to me that it's demonic. It makes sense that maybe it's been tampered with, but that it is maybe based or rooted partially angelic language. So it's interesting to see as we read this, it definitely feels like the frequency at which they're writing this brings in a higher realm of an angelic tone.
Yeah, and the encoded phrases, vibrational patterns, rhythms, and imaging can afford us the highest form of power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Eventually, these chapters will be translated into the appropriate languages with codexing intact for those appropriately designed phrasings and imaging technologies as to enhance the imprinting of appropriate knowledge access for all beings to receive. In the meantime, anyone can listen to the readings out loud and benefit from the rhythms in a rudimentary level, even if they are not trained in the English language. So whether you understand English or not, just by listening, it goes in.
Mm-hmm. So to all our other speaking language, or first language speaking a different language people.
I know.
Find an English speaking friend that'll read it to you.
Or get audioed and read it, have it read to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that I just want to say one other thing. And we do this. We stop each other too, just for the audience to see. If one of us doesn't get it, we don't feel hindered to keep ourselves quiet. The most important thing that for us in coming together is that we get and share and get what we need, but also, in the sharing, like we've said, is such a huge part of it. But what stood out to me this time was this interesting phrase where it said, imaging technologies. So it said, eventually these chapters will be translated into the appropriate languages with codexing intact for those appropriately designed phrasings and imaging technologies as to enhance the imprinting of appropriate knowledge access for all beings to receive. It makes me think that there's almost like a plasmatic, like, idea that they have that this technology will be, the communication will be transmitted in a different form of technology other than speaking English and
Yeah,
written
it's like
English.
transmitting images almost. So you show people
Right.
the thought form is shown in the brain instead of translated in a word.
Right.
Well, as they say, an image contain a lot of words.
Yeah.
And and again, the imaging, appropriate imaging will have that frequential, a codex as well. But
Oh,
so I'm really wishing that the audience sees how important it is that we stop and have that conversation, because how that just expanded in my body was, wow.
Mhm.
I'm not always, we're all in our day-to-day thing. I'm not always thinking about these future imaging technologies and how we will communicate. But by that entering into my field, now I'm living my life with that as in existence. And that puts me immediately on a different trajectory of expansion.
Yeah, and to know that's possible, to believe that's possible means it will be in your lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
because that thought will create it.
And these are the things that we're like, yes, we love Mondays. We love our reading group. These are so cool. Okay.
Christina, want to finish it up?
yep. It is our intention that in group readings, at least a pair, that there be reverent listening and occasional pausing to discuss in respectful inquiry what the passages may mean to each person. This provokes a level of inquiry in the direction of true understanding and the inherent consciousness available in the shared aspect of gnosis or knowledge, connecting with another in self-inquiry towards what these transmissions mean. The focus of thoughts from the heart level of sharing upon higher principles of consciousness will afford great light into the group, and even more beneficially will send a ripple of light outward into the vicinity of the group for the lifting of consciousness in all directions of this conversation.
Yay.
I
Love
know,
it.
that's beautiful. I was thinking with reverent listening that listening is such a pure act, to just listen and pause and give yourself permission to do so. You're not always filling the space with sound, but like a new way to receive.
I actually think active listening has that combination of active and passive that's very balancing. That you feel you're actively present, but you're receiving at the same time. And in some ways, I don't think you can take in the information the same way otherwise. At least I find it difficult. I love that we take turns. I know that there are plenty of people that don't have that need, but I love that myself. I love that we take turns and then we listen to each other and we respond to each other. It's a really nice part of it for me.
It is. And there's been lots of deep sharing of our lives with each other too, that is really profound. I think in the context of this podcast being about Yin-care and women's health, there's some deep sharing of our experiences as women, and our lives and our struggles and our triumphs. And things like there have been a lot of like really beautiful surprises in learning about each other that have added so much depth and change to my life, knowing these stories of other women. Yeah, and there's something just so special, I think, about women sharing their stories with each other that we don't have enough time or make enough time for deep stories. We're so bombarded with many crises in our lives that oftentimes the sort of the time that we're in conversation with each other are to just blow off some steam and detox from whatever crazy event that like came up. Whereas in the context of this, there's so much deep reflection on things that have happened. And not to say that we don't bring up challenges that are in the moment, but there's a pause of reflection that's so special.
Yeah, to just be seen and heard and held by a loving group of souls and souls you trust, to be raw or
Genuine.
or be upset, be scared.
Yeah.
All the things life throws at us.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, okay. So that's the intro. That's
the
sort of
intro.
how this works. Do we want to take a couple minutes and read part of the other bit or intuit another page or?
Yeah, let's read the section of page 141 and see where that brings us.
All right, that sounds good. So we're skipping ahead, people, to a chapter. Let's see. The chapter is titled, where is it here?
Due diligence.
Due diligence. Okay. Chapter 21.
21.
Okay. But we're skipping into it because I had flagged this paragraph as particularly amazing on my, as you know, we have all kinds of flags and underlines and highlights and whatnot. So, okay, who is next?
I think I am. Am I next?
Yeah, and where are you thinking to read?
Page 141.
Okay. Go
And
ahead.
I'll just read like half of it, and then Margaret.
Yeah, so it's all one paragraph. Why don't you let's divide it as best we can into three sections and just intuit where that is.
Okay. By sending out a thought tone, one of kindness, admiration, appreciation, wonder, love, etc., one is sending out a tone of harmonic intent to find others of like harmonic. You will most definitely begin to vibrate others around you who oscillate with similar frequency to that original tone or thought. And there will be those who do not. This is a great way to discern your way through your community, to be in harmony, as you choose only thoughts and intents that create what you want, and we suggest you explore those thoughts that produce well-being and goodwill for all. Then so shall your harmonic resonance be sent forth around you, and those beings resonating with that intent will respond in like to you. And I'll stop there.
I love it. I love this. I love the first part, sending out a tone of harmonic intent to find others of like harmonic. And, you know, I feel like I said this before when we read this, because Daniel studies music as well. And we've been looking at the harmonies and such. And so it's really interesting to think that we can send out a tone with harmonic intent that resonates with someone else, that they're feeling the harmonic of our frequency.
And when you think, that thought is a song.
Wow.
If you think of it, whenever you think, your head is singing. And so what kind of a thought is it? Does someone else want to hear that song?
Are you singing Nirvana? Are you
Are you
singing
singing destruction and turmoil and chaos and doom and gloom?
That is such a cool image, don't you think, Christina? I mean, that is really cool. I never have thought about that. That's cool.
When I walk through the hall today at school, I was walking through the hall. I don't know why I was in a really good mood today. And I was just buzzing through the halls. And I felt exactly that. I felt like my joyful thoughts are just brightening up these halls and whoever walks by me. And I was filling the halls with these, kindness, admiration, appreciation, wonder, love, excitement.
Holy crap.
I love that. And I feel that, but I love that you added that it has a song to it. Now I'm going to start trying to listen to what kind of song am I singing with my brain waves.
Some of these things are coming into my mind a little bit ahead of time. And so when I look at this, this one is really right on the money, where it says, let it be. There will be those who are vibrating at such a frequency that will be put into motion by your tone and will refract it back to you with harshness. These are those whose frequencies are not in harmony with your intent and will ricochet your vibrations back with intensity or denial. Now, I've had some of that, and it's been hard to just keep going.
Yeah. Do you want to, was that right where she left off?
It was a little bit, do you
want to start the next bit there?
Okay. Let me see exactly.
You will find.
Yeah, you will find.
You will find people calling you, serving you, hugging you, or responding exactly as you are vibrating. Then there will be those that will not respond, perhaps even ignore you, walk away, or miss your presence altogether. These are the ones who are absorbing your resonance but have no resonance to it, and therefore are not vibrating back a harmonic with your intent. Let it be. There will be those who are vibrating at such a frequency that will be put into motion by your tone and will refract it back to you with harshness. These are those whose frequencies are not in harmony with your intent and will ricochet your vibrations back with intensity or denial. Again, take no personal heed in these reactions, as they are in the physics responding to the vibrations of unlike harmonics. And therefore, move away from those frequencies and continue your vibrational intention without attachment to their behavior. Note that it is a frequency issue.
I think you should stop there.
Okay.
That is beautiful. I think this helps us all as we interact with each other. Mm-hmm. If we all can just maintain this awareness and just let it be and know that physics is working.
And it's not personal.
It's not personal.
It's not personal. That is like the thing where, especially I think we as women will just get ourselves in a thing. We'll let something hook us instead of letting it be. Like, it's just not,
And if we don't respond to someone or someone doesn't respond to us, it's okay. It's just we're not a match in that moment. It could change another time. But someone's singing a sad song, someone's singing a happy song, and they're not in alignment.
They sound terrible together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. I will continue. Is it, are we at?
Take note.
Take note. Okay. Take note that it is a frequency issue, not necessarily anything bad about the person reacting. Their frequency may eventually adjust due to your intent. If it is high and loving, but if the instrument is made of dense dross, there will be little resonance until they choose to tune their instrument. Your tuning is an inspiration when you send forth your resonance in thought and most particularly acted out in deed. You send forth the sound of your intent, and this can allow the benefit of another noticing their instrument is out of tune and therefore be inspired to get in tune to be able to create sounds they want to resonate back. This is a wonderful inspiration that you can provide simply by constantly tuning your instrument, your mind and body temple with the harmonic blueprint of your soul. And that's all in caps, of your soul, and group soul intent. That's in all caps, and principles of oneness, all in caps. Due diligence is your friend in doing so.
I like that because just by tuning your instrument, you're doing such a service to others. Just by keeping it tuned, doing your due diligence, keeping it in tune, and then others will hear it and they get to choose is it going to tune them up, are they going to adjust their tune?
I love it. And it's like, it's again, so pertinent to this podcast and what Yin-care is doing, because that is the idea, is that we learn to tune our instrument, and that tuning to me is what I call health creation. So then my question is to you lovely ladies, how do you keep your instruments tuned? What are some of your favorite ways of keeping your instrument tuned that like become important in your life?
Well, I always start on the physical level with very clean diet, fruits and vegetables and clean meats. And I think hydration and good sleep, that those are such important ingredients. And then meditative quiet time, recharging time, nature time. And good friends like this group, where there's deep sharing, there's love, there's trust. Even if you just have one or two people you can turn to that have your back. Someone said to me recently, you'd want them in the same foxhole as you.
You guys are definitely foxhole gals.
And then there's the emotional. There's all the bodies we have to tend to. The emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. We're not just a physical being. So the prayers are important. The meditation, the receiving and the listening and the asking and the praying. And then the practices, keeping movement, flow in your life. Reading high-level spiritual texts with truths, infinite truths, universal truths. So then I'll let you guys fill in some things. Christina, if you want to share.
I think intent is really important. And for me, I've gone through phases of, nature, listening like Zen, or sound is very profound for me. Even going to a concert, I had like a bliss experience with Diana Ross.
That's so cool.
With a bunch of friends who just love her music, and there wasn't anyone who wasn't moving. And I get to see her again in March. And I just found it such a freeing bliss kind of moment that it was, talk about resonance. That music just shakes everything up and makes me feel happy. So for doing things I enjoy, releasing any kind of judgment, embracing forgiveness, the breathing and the forgiveness has been big. But also movement is becoming more important. And all the things that Kimberly mentioned as well. I mean, there's a multitude of things that kind of help you along the way. And for me, animals are also like sacred in the way that I have relationship with animals, and that's sacred for me. So I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, but I love animals so much.
I'm not a vegan or vegetarian either, but
What
that was
about you, Margaret? What are your
gosh, I mean, it's everything that you both have shared, and I think that I'll just say, in case there's people listening that are like, "Oh my God, that's so many things," but I think I could probably speak for all of us, saying like it's not like all these things came at once for us. It's like different things come with more importance, and we've been intuitively led in the direction of what is the next best thing to tune our instrument. So yes, diet was like a front and center tuning for a long time. Now it's such a standard practice for me that it's not like anything I have to think about, but it's
Awesome.
important. Whereas drinking water is really important for me right now. And I would say I'm in and out as far as food and water are concerned. I'm in and out of bringing a deeper sense of consciousness to the act of eating or drinking, in prayer, in connection with the food or the water. I'm not always there, but that's definitely a layer that's been added to that piece. Yeah, being in nature is huge. Just being connected. A lot of it for me, as I've shared in this group, is being connected to the land that I'm on. So, I mean, there's a daily sort of meditation practice that I have with the land that I'm on. And as much as the weather permits, getting outside is super important. Connecting with the sun for me is super important. I love that, Christina, you brought in music. Music for sure. Sometimes I am so, oh my gosh, yesterday I was listening to Peter Gabriel's The Blood of Eden, and I thought I was going to just die. Like it had like all this other whole layers of meaning that, I mean, I mostly listened to it in this, like, it's this sort of special song between Daniel and I that we've shared. And it's been, because it says, in the blood of Eden lie the woman and the man in the woman, and the woman in the man. They wanted the union. Oh, the union of the woman and the man. And so it felt very much like a personal thing. And then it took a deeper place for me yesterday, and just listening to how he opens it with the vibrational opening of a cello. And then there's this whole bit in the middle where he's calling out and he's like, "Oh," I don't know if you guys can remember that part, but it's like he's just in this bliss moment. He's just stopping everything, and he's feeling this like bliss moment that he can just be in Eden for just a moment, and you're just taken with him. And anyway, so music and is huge. And dance. I love dancing. I don't dance enough. Laughing. Oh my God. Laughing is there's so many things, like all of the things, right?
Yeah, and they're not all the time, all at once.
No.
It's a lifetime of accumulated knowledge, wisdom, and at different times in your life, you need different things, different
Exactly.
products, different supplements, different remedies, different practitioners to help you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a beautiful harmony of knowing when you ask, that thing will come.
Mm.
When you turn and you trust, it's the next thing is right in front of you or somewhere in your grasp.
That is beautifully said. Beautifully said. Christina, were you going to say something else too?
I don't know, it popped out of my brain, but what I was thinking is I too am trying to get that nutritional thing in a sort of automatic so my energy is freed up for other things. And I learned that a lot of times we as beings can have these multiple programs going on in our systems, Or some is like, this is the diet thing that works and sustains me. And then there's an aspect of sometimes breaking out and being super present in those moments to make sure you're not just in habit. But sometimes I find the habit frees up so much energy, so I can choose to focus on what I really want to become, like what I want to become. Then my energy will go on that most. And that I feel helps my alignment a lot with my energy.
I would totally agree.
So
Beautiful. Yeah.
you guys seem really good with the diets. I'm still, I go forward and I go back a little bit.
Oh, lately, I don't have a problem when I'm, I figure out, but occasionally I have like, I would say as I've gone down this path, I get sensitive to things that are unexpected. And so it'll throw me off. And it's like this over the last few months, I've had some rashing that's happened because I've eaten something that's wrong. And so it's a constant monitoring of those things, but you just have to be flexible about it.
I always find if you look for a problem, you find them. Whereas you look more like you put your mind towards the healing aspect of it. It works kind of like Kim was saying, it's like an ask. You'll get things that give you feedback. This could help you. This could help you.
Exactly. It's so true.
Yeah, right. Like if you start focusing on it, like for me, the things that I've tried in diet when I feel like it's like fixing or heavy, always backfires. But when I put it in a tone of like, I'm nourishing myself, this is helping me in this way, this is for my heart, I'm doing it, this kind of thing, it works so much better because I won't fight it. I won't feel like it's not self-loving ultimately.
And I'll say the same about this rash, because when you have something that's so upsetting and physically bothering you in some way, it is more challenging to go to the space of, I have all the tools I need. I know the answer to this. I just have to be in communication with my skin. I need to be in communication with my, or my liver, and for me, I think it was also related to kind of menopausal stuff that was going on that was creating hormone related issues that were affecting the skin's ability to be in harmony with this, basically this water filtration system that we've got going, that I think it's like a osmosis system that has a salt thing that removes the hard minerals. And my body, I think the hormones were not regulated in a way that was allowing my skin to be able to deal with the shifting of the mineral waves that were happening in the system. So anyway, we figured it out. It's taken a while. We figured it out. We have to get a new water system, I think.
I have one that's kind of like that, but it does something more there's another type of filtration. If you ever want to look it up, it's called the halo system.
Okay, cool.
And it's throughout my whole home, even the outside spigot,
nice.
Except one in the front where the plumbing, they couldn't make it go through there.
Cool.
But that means like what goes through my fridge is double filtrated. And then what goes on the tap is already filtrated.
Cool.
Yeah,
well, check that out. There's another one that I'm going to look at too that I've been playing with. So I'll be emailing you as I get more focused on that. But we should probably wrap up for the evening as well, just because I know it's getting later and it's in the evening for everybody. And both Kimberly and Christina are on the East Coast. So some of the favorite phrases I thought I'd just throw out there were the be of good cheer, because that comes up a lot in the book, right?
Yes.
And the beauty codes.
Yes.
And so just they're always sort of dropping these pieces into a lot of the text. And I really wanted to just wish is out to Pat when she watches this, that we're just saying, be of good cheer. Be of good cheer, Pat. And may you surround yourself with the beauty codes.
Yes, Beautiful, Margaret. Thank you.
So actually, I wanted to just one more time show people how they can find the book. So it's starfirewisdom.com, and it is on here. Da, 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 da. So Starfire Wisdom Academy, and it's actually starfirewisdom.com, and I'm just going to scroll to the top, and this is the homepage. So embody your, I think I blew this up so we could see the book, Embody Your Awakened Consciousness. And Luma's got offerings. You can sign up for the Starfire. I think the group classes is where she has a Starfire breath class. And so you can sign up for that there, and you can book a package. You can also look at her private sessions for her oracle readings. And then the book is, of course, here. And you just have to scroll down to the bottom, and it will be, oh, you can also buy it in a digital copy too, if you want. But it's a beautiful book, so highly recommend that. And that is what I wanted to show there. And then I also wanted to show people for Kimberly. One more thing about Starfire Wisdom Reading Group. If you are interested in creating a reading group after you've purchased the book, Luma doesn't offer this yet, but I will volunteer to help organize a group if there are enough people. So you can just email to Margaret@Yin-care.com after you've purchased your book, or if you're with the intent of purchasing the book, and just put in the subject line Starfire Wisdom Reading Group. So that's Margaret@Yin-care.com, and the subject would be Starfire Wisdom Reading Group. And then just to draw attention to Kimberly as well, if you are interested in getting in touch with her at the Center for Core Healing, you can check her out. And I've got her website here, and it's got all kinds of good information about her services, what she offers. She's got sessions you can book. So again, she works with, just to recap, people that are going through healing journeys related to disease, death, divorce, and disconnection. And she really is working with families and children in bringing them together during those times of challenge. Is that right, Kimberly?
Yes, that's very nice. Thank you, Margaret.
You are so welcome. Let me get back to the other screen here. And then also, if you want to find Kimberly on her Facebook page, you can find her there. And Kimberly, do you want to help us just do a little closing prayer?
Yes. Let's just close our eyes again and just breathe and ground and absorb all the things that we heard tonight, all the vibrations that came through, the wonderings and the stirrings, and let them find a home inside your being. And we just always give thanks to Luma Lore and the Starfire Wisdom codes and the beings who care for Earth, for humanity, for the galaxy, for the universe, who uphold harmony, the beauty way, and feeling good in our skin. And to Yin-care, that we all take care of the sacred feminine and the masculine, the physical level, the emotional level, the mental level, and the spiritual level. May everybody find what they need at the time that they need it. And so thank you, Margaret, for hosting us here and for bringing this wisdom to those who will resonate with it. Blessings to everybody.
Oh, thank you so much. Will you, Christina, do your bowl again, please? And we can Om.
And in honor of Pat, she always ends with peace. Shanti Om. We love you, Pat.
We love you, Pat.
We love you, Pat. You're here with us.
Yes. What a lovely evening.
That bowl is magnificent. Thank you for doing that, Christina. That is really great. And so with that, I will just thank you both so much for allowing me to do this on our Starfire reading group night. And I think all of this will really be so helpful for so many people. And my wish, of course, is that people will be inspired to, if it resonates with them, to go get that book and to take a journey with the Starfire Wisdom book. And so for all of you guys out there, thank you for joining us tonight for the Yin-care Podcast, or maybe day or morning for you when you're listening to this. And until our next Yin-care Podcast, honor yourself, celebrate your strength, and empower your transformation.
Aho.